So what the heck is all of this? Well, what is that? That's a maroon 68 Chevelle that we're gonna be doing some work on. We're gonna be putting in a Tremec 5-speed into this big block 68 Chevelle. Check this thing out. This is a beautiful 68 post car. Nice little 502. This is the cast iron headed version 502, as you can see. So this is only about a 450 horse combo. Put this beautiful Billet Specialties setup on it. He ended up putting on his power steering, and he's fighting with this right now, as well as fighting with the transmission. One of the things that I found out was, I'm looking underneath the car, and I'll show it to you in a second. The guy claimed he already had the transmission in the car, but he had some broken bolts and some goofy stuff. It's your pilot bearing. Notice how that thing is brand spanking new? The one that's in it is beaten to shit. I don't think you can pull it out. The throwout bearing that's in this thing right now is beaten to hell. I dug through, and here's a brand new throwout bearing. I don't even know if the guy even actually got it in the car. There's the throwout bearing that he was trying to use. This is what was originally in the Muncie. Normally with something like this, you would end up putting like a hydraulic clutch in it. This is still a fork clutch. I'm not sure if the transmission will even slip in, because supposedly the guy has just been fighting it and fighting it and fighting it and fighting it, and I broke bolts and, you know, all this BS. I'm gonna tap out the bolt holes here for the transmission itself, because one looks pretty shady. And at that point, I don't know if he's got the clutch set up right. This is for setting up your clutch. This is a mimic of your input shaft for your transmission. So this should slip right inside here all the way through and set everything up. I can't put that through. Nope, I cannot get that through. Let's get this bell housing off and let's dig a little farther into this can of worms. Man. We'll get it going though. Dan, we'll get it going. We'll take care of you, bud. There's the beginning. It goes in. Yeah, she goes in. So it's biting. Yeah. Oh, man. They carved the shit out of the floor in this thing. Holy shit. Wow. Just not quite looking right. Yeah. That trunk floor, the transmission tunnel, it's just wrong. Yeah, he beat the living shit out of this thing to make things fit, and it's the tranny tunnel. See how he beat the snot out of the floor. I mean, he beat the shit out of it, and look way up in there. I mean, we're not even on. Plus the transmission and the motor itself, everything right now is like this. So it all has to go up. That transmission tunnel, we're gonna have problems. There's definitely gonna be some problems there. I'm gonna try to see if I can just get it to line up, but it doesn't even look like it's gonna line up with the bell housing. I got a feeling I'm gonna have to modify the transmission tunnel. I don't know the kit that they got. I don't know if he bought the right kit from Tremec, and normally it's a bolt-in kit. We did, you know, a buddy of mine's got one in his 68 Camaro, and it was just a bolt-in, ready to rock and roll. It fit beautiful. This is not fitting very well. Right here is all of our problems. We are hitting this entire top section, this whole section here, and even this tail right here. right here. And from about this line here, oh, where's my mark? This whole section right here, we're hitting all of that. This whole freaking thing. I'm gonna see if I can do a little bit of massaging without going to town, just to see if I can get the transmission to like lock itself in. Then I know everything in the bell housing and all that stuff is set up correctly. This right here, making sure that that is gonna slip inside here. And it just clunk, clunk, clunk. You can't get it, and you actually got to do a little bit of grinding on it, which absolutely sucks ass. So first things first, I'm going to see, because you can already tell how much they cut and beat the shit out of these floors. I want to see if I can move a couple of things around a little bit. If not, it's having to cut the floor to get the transmission to fit. That is not getting flush. So what I noticed was this. Let me pop this off real quick. Go. What I noticed was right here, you can see this line. Let me grab you. All right, you see this witness mark right here? And then it goes flat there. There we go, now you can see it. It goes on to this point here. As soon as we hit into this, it won't go over. This thing has got one hell of a freaking wicked ass burr in this. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this burr off first. So what I did was I just got a porting bit on a drill and I'm just cleaning up this burr halfway in there. I wish I would have freaking taken the picture of this before I started, because as soon as I started, I was like, what the hell? Midway through here, there's like a seam inside here. It's not very thick, but it was maybe 20 thousandths. So all I'm doing is I'm knocking that seam down. Let's see if I can get it on this side. No, I already went around and kind of touched it up. But there was a small little seam. I don't know if they like pressed this out. You know what I mean? Like if you punch it out and then all of a sudden, like if you're drilling from one side and you pop through and then you have that burr or that seam that's in there, that's what this had. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take that seam off, and then we're going to try it again. So I'm just going to finish this up. Like I said, it's not much, but it was just enough to where, I mean, if you got, let's say that seam is 10 thousandths on each side, here, well, you just shrunk that hole 20 thousandths. That's going to make a difference. Now, maybe I'm like a Muncie or something like that. It's physically a little smaller. I'm not sure. I've got a little booger there. But you guys get the idea. So maybe this will do the job, and I'm not going to actually have to set this up and have it completely machined out. Man, fingers crossed for damn sure. Ha-ha! There we go. There it is. Perfect. Sweet. So there we go. I was thinking I was gonna have to do a lot more machining and things like that, but it was just that goofy ass seam. Perfect. Okay, so now bell housing goes back in. Now let's try the transmission one more time and see if we can actually get that sucker locked and loaded. See if we can get her balls deep, baby, balls deep. But I ended up just taking like a dead blow hammer, like a rubber dead blow hammer. And there was just a couple of spots that where the tunnel and the firewall come together. There's a seam that's inside there. That seam was making contact, so I ended up just kind of knocking that in a little bit. I didn't put, big monster dents in it, but I just kind of flattened that out a little bit better. So it looks like so far everything's doing okay on this thing. Now, one thing that you got to keep in mind on a car that's this old is the motor mounts, or not the motor mounts, but the body mounts. Something this old, let's just say, argument's sake, they did a beautiful paint job on it, but they never changed the body mounts. Well, think about it. This thing's well over 50 years old, and those rubber mounts are going to start to sag and sag and sag, so the body and the frame are going to get closer together. That could cause a problem like what we were initially seeing, or what I was initially seeing on this thing. So, after doing a little massaging with the old rubber mallet, it doesn't look like I'm going to have to cut the floors. I can get up there, and I can just get my fingertips in there. So that's telling me there's, a nice amount of room. We're not going to get into anything crazy. Now, I will say this, with solid motor mounts on there, you're going to get a vibration in the car. You're going to get that, type of sound and vibration in the car because you got solid mounts on it. Now, next up is I got to do a little bit of work on the shifter because where it sits, I flip-flopped it to the front and to the back. You can see where the shifter is now. I have it all the way to the front. I've taken that sucker and I flipped it all the way to the back. Well, what happens is with your plate that goes on there, it actually hits the back side of the plate, or it gets real close to hitting the front side of the plate. And when you're sitting in the car, you have to really reach far forward to hit that first gear or that third gear or that fifth gear. So what I'm gonna do is just a simple thing. We're just gonna do a little modifying to the shifter. So this is the one that he had on his Muncie. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a little piece that's gonna give us about another 1.5 inches back, and then the shaft is gonna be mounted off that. I believe we'll be A-okay at that point. So what am I gonna use? I have some 1/4 inch thick steel that I'm gonna make a new setup for. We'll weld it up, we'll get that thing in the car, double check. I wanna have the shifter in the center of the console. And like I said, it's too far forward or it's too far back. I wanna have it more in the center and very comfortable to be able to bang gears. Make sense? Makes sense. Now, one of the biggest things, don't undo this. Let it naturally cool, then flip it, re-weld it. I'm gonna do that on all the spots. Let it sit. See how nice and straight that is? Man, I got bad helmet hair from that thing. But you see how nice and freaking straight that is? Boom, right there, dead level, perfect. Why? Because I let it cool down. Don't rush when you're doing something like this, because the last thing you want is this thing to go, and we want, so at that point, why did I also make the bevels that I did? Well, because that right there is gonna mount flush against the transmission. I wouldn't want anything like that with weld on it, because it's gonna be all screwed up and it's gonna go, and we don't want, we want, so I still have weld inside there because I ground those edges at an angle. Even being flush mounted inside there where those edges are now, there's fresh weld. Get it? Got it? Good. So now we'll be able to lock this thing in. Dan will be able to go through, sit there and do big old Smokey burnouts, grab some second gear rubber, maybe a little third gear rubber. If not, I can help him out and get a little more horsepower in that 502. But it's also going to be in a much more comfortable position than what it was. Let's put this damn thing in the car and see where it is. That is what I mean by the shifter being more centered in the hole. Now, I know first thing you guys are gonna say, let me get in this bad boy. First thing you guys are gonna say, dude, that boot is designed for a non-console car. Yes, the correct boot fits farther down on the console. It actually goes over the hole with a ring and you bolt that down. I'll also say this too. When he chopped this thing up, what holds down the console, your brackets that hold down, they're gone. So it's there, but the front is a little wonky. So it is what it is. This is how it's looking. But now, being in the car, it's nice. It's right here. I don't have to like lean forward from the car. It's right here. Next gear is right there. So you don't have to reach. The fact that I drew this back that 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches, it's nice. Everything's easy to get to. I ended up giving Dan a call, told him what was going on and everything we went through. Super excited. He's like, man, I cannot freaking wait. There were some other things he said, but I can't say because of YouTube that I don't want to get kicked off. So He was very, very, very happy. Now, I got to get a drive shaft built for this thing. So I'm waiting on the yoke. He's got to deliver that to me, and we're going to get the drive shaft figured out. Probably take a couple of weeks, week or two, depends on how far out they are. I'm also going to do the exhaust system. We're going to be doing the cutouts that he wanted to put on here as well. Make that 502 sound a little better. Those thrush mufflers don't sound bad, but when you got the ability to flip a switch and go open headered, it's going to be cool. So either at a car show or maybe just driving down the road and you get one of those annoying little Honda Civics with one of those little fart cans next to you. You know, they sound like just a pissed off chainsaw, you know, doing all that type of shit. And at that point, he can just simply go, okay, I'm going to drown that thing out. Click and go from, sounded nice little, nice little 502 through some thrush to, and make that thing sound wicked, loud, and open-headed to give that old flavor, that old-fashioned, I'm gonna rip you apart, boy, sound again. Because that's right, should sound pretty good. We're gonna end up doing a before and after, if you guys have never done it before, of putting in a set of cutouts. Super simple. But you're going to have to wait for the next video. I know I'm such a dick. But you're going to have to wait for the next video. We'll put that on down the pipeline. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We got the stroker build. We got this. We got all kinds of stuff coming. So don't forget. I will see you in the next episode, my friends. Woo!